Hey gang! Been a minute since I've done one of these, so I'm just gonna cut right to the quick of it. If any of you have been paying attention to my community tab activity or my activity in the Discord server, or you're one of those folks who have gotten replies to your comments that you've left on some of my other projects, you'll know that for the last little while, couple of months, I've been working on an audiobook contract. I haven't really gone into details because it was still in production, and I wasn't at liberty to go into details yet. But I have recently finished it up, and it has finally been approved for sale as of like a week ago. Somehow I missed the notification. So, obviously, this video is here to try and encourage you to buy it. It's a royalty share gig, so full transparency, I have a vested interest in the thing selling well. But I'm also not an idiot. I know you all aren't going to go buying something if you don't know what it is, and I would not want you to make blind purchases anyway. That's just exploitative and irresponsible on my part. So, with that in mind, I'm going to share with you the 5-minute preview that you can find on its Audible page, so that you can have an idea of the vibe you're going for. And I'll reconvene with you after you have had a chance to listen to that. Metal ring pulls, rusty nails, spent rifle cartridges, and driving rain. That was all Liam found the last time he went treasure hunting in Morecambe Bay. Like ferreting, it was something he'd swore he'd never do again. But his desire had grown exponentially over the last 2 weeks, and Liam felt sure that somewhere as remote and untouched as Fetlar would turn up all sorts of Viking treasure. He checked the level of his mobile phone before sneaking out the back door, his father's borrowed metal detector hanging from his rucksack. After walking for a mile along the island's only main road, he turned right at the grit storage area and followed the dirt track up the hill to the unused, somewhat abandoned airstrip. Opportunist weeds and loose grit plagued the runway, and grasses encroached on the airstrip boundary. Fetlar once saw regular Loganair flights to neighboring islands and mainland Shetland, but these were in the affluent oil boom days of the 1970s. Now the only incoming flights were in extremis, from an air ambulance or Coast Guard helicopter. Following the airstrip to the end, he reached the RSPB Nature Reserve. He looked out over Vord Hill, the highest vantage point on Fetlar, a bleak-looking blank canvas in the north of the island. Due to the underlying noxious and inhospitable ferruginous deposits, the hill was perennially covered with sparse vegetation, so no tender plants could lay down roots. At the foot of the hill, the landscape merged into heather and grass fields, dotted with mires and a kind of hummocky heath. Hidden underneath, a strip of green rock called Serpentine that snakes north from the lower Hooby Valley in the center of Fetlar, widening to encompass Vord Hill. Some believe this is what makes Fetlar special, that Serpentine helps people to see, to tune into past lives, and heal imbalances. But for the modern Fetlarian, this was just an old wives' tale. Liam often spent hours with an elder, Da Anderson, who told him all the ancient stories. Da still believed the Trows and other supernatural creatures held sway over the island. Vord Hill held no fascination for Liam. He was searching for the elusive Haltiden stone circle. He remembered the first time he tried to find it. It was not uncommon, the stone circle being smaller than most envisaged, for people to trek all the way out to the reserve and come away disappointed. Sitting cross-legged on the heather, he reflected on how different the atmosphere felt, considering it was only a couple of miles away from the small council estate where he lived. The silence was sometimes accompanied by a tinge of loneliness, reminding him of a forgotten attic. He wondered if this was due to the clearances. Da had told him stories about these practices. In the 1800s, landlords had favored sheep farming over tenants, and many families had been turfed unceremoniously out of their homes, often with nowhere to go. Liam had never lived in a place where there was no traffic or people noise. This is what he liked about Fetlar, not having to walk too far to be totally and utterly alone. The possibility that no one would find him if something happened excited him in a ghoulish sort of way. He seriously contemplated camping somewhere remote, possibly on the farthest reaches of the Lamhoga Peninsula. He could take the dogs. He imagined himself a Shackleton-like figure pushing the unexplored boundaries of the island, not forgetting the hidden cave network. He walked gingerly across the marshy parts of the grassland, heading in the general direction of the stone circle, walking slowly so he didn't miss them in the grass. His Wellington boots squelched and sucked at the earth, and at times he ran quickly so the island didn't consume him. He thought it more than capable of doing so. And there you have it. I know that preview doesn't exactly cover very much. It's literally only just the first 5 minutes of the story. I would have picked something a bit more engaging, but Audible and ACX, the platform I use for these productions, just defaults to the first 5 minutes at this point, so unfortunately that decision was out of my control. But all the same, it should still give you some idea as to the vibes the book is going for. It's very much a slow burn story, sort of a supernatural mystery about a small remote community falling under attack from unknowable powers. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, and you want to support a smaller creator in the process, then please, by all means, give it a look. There is a link in the pinned comment and in the description. Now, that is enough self-promotion from me for the time being. Thank you all for your time. And until we speak again, take care of yourselves, keep listening, and don't be a dick. Bye.